I never wanted to be a teacher. Those who know me well know that I had different plans for my life. I was going in a different direction. So it's surprising for me to be up here thinking, oh, I'm a teacher. And I never imagined that something as simple as teaching a child how to read a new word would bring so much happiness to myself and so much happiness to the child. Years back, I took a year off from university, and I was fortunate enough to get a job here at Whisker School as a classroom assistant in a grade 5 classroom. My main responsibility, I had 3 students under my wing, and I had to read to them all morning long. And I had no training whatsoever. I didn't know what to do, and I thought, oh, they're just shoving me aside into this little closet here. I have to sit all morning with them, read. I don't know how to teach a child to read. But by the end of the year, there was such a dramatic change in their reading. I honestly didn't know what I did. I just read with them every day, tried my best. And once we got to the end of the year and I saw what progress they had made, I really felt like I had really made a difference in their life. I felt amazing, and it was so awesome to see that those students as well did so well. And when I was growing up, there were always books in my home. My mom always made sure that I had books to read. And from a very young age, I could read really well. And I was totally oblivious to the fact that there are so many other children that they don't know how to read. They don't have books at home. And I was pretty sheltered from knowing things like that. So now that I'm grown up and I'm a teacher, and I see that, yes, there are children out there who don't have any books to read at home. And in our community, we're very isolated. We have limited resources. And back then, we didn't have a really big community library like we do today. And I'm glad that we do now. So, and even as a teacher right now, I do feel those limitations. I see something on the internet, I want to make it for my students. Oh, this will really help this child right here learn the blends or learn their sounds of their alphabet. Oh, but the internet isn't working in my classroom today. Or, oh, I don't have the mall to get to or a store to get these materials to build these things for my students. And when I came out of university, I was teaching at a higher grade than I am now. And I was surprised to see that it was quite difficult to get them to want to read a book. They enjoyed read alouds, they enjoyed group reading, but I just found that they didn't really have a huge passion. And that's my experience. I'm not saying that that's every student at that age, but I just was puzzled because growing up, I loved to read, so I didn't know why these students didn't want to read at all, and it was a little bit frustrating on my part. I didn't know why, I didn't know what to do. And now I'm teaching grade 1, and it's such a difference. These little guys, they come in the morning, in the afternoon, they come through that door, and they're beaming, they're smiling, they're so excited to be at school. They come to me from kindergarten like dry sponges, ready to soak up all that information, and they're so willing to learn. They are so excited to be here, and they have such a passion that I really admire, and they just love to read. I had one little guy last year. I had to stop him every day from reading because there were other things to do, and he would get really upset, and I felt really awful, but I had to go on with the curriculum within our other subjects as well. And in the beginning of every school year, when I am teaching this grade, I do get a little bit nervous. I see the kids coming in. Well, the first little while I need to assess them. And I get a little bit panicky thinking, oh no, there's this little person here. They don't know any of their alphabet. They don't know the sounds of the alphabet. What am I going to do? I need to get them from here all the way over here to get them ready to ship off to the next teacher. But as the months go on, I do see progress, and it is really, really nice to see. And they can see their progress as well. They start saying, oh, Miss G, there's a hidden word in this word. Or, oh, look at this sound, this blend, I know that sound. So they're running up to me, Miss G, look. And it is really nice to see that every day, and it does happen every day in our classroom, and it's a lot of fun. It's really, really great to be around these kids and be around this excitement. And I'm not a miracle worker. I just do what I do. It's the children and their parents who are the heroes. The children for always wanting to learn, never being discouraged, and just being happy every single day. Their parents for getting them up every day for school, for making sure that they do their homework, for reading with them each and every night. And in my classroom, I try to come up with as many new things as I can to make reading fun for the kids. And one thing I started last year is I spell out loud to my students every day. And each year, I start out with the word W-A-L-K, which is rule number 2 in our classroom. And that's the first word that we learn. And this past week, my baby started kicking. And so I was telling the children about it. And as we were leaving the morning, they were getting dressed, and one of the kids came up to me, "What is your baby saying?" I said, "I think it's a little bit early for my baby to be talking." So she wanted to put her head against my belly, and she was listening, and she said, "He's saying L-U-N-C-H. So it's things like that, like when they start spelling back to you, it's really cute. When they're in the classroom, they're spelling back to each other. Somebody's doing something dangerous a couple days ago, and one of the kids said, S-T-O-P. So it's just really wonderful to see them learning and seeing them excited and happy and using those skills. And although they have all this motivation and enthusiasm, there are children that do struggle, and that's a challenge, but I love a challenge. I'm really, really happy to be given this challenge every year, and it just gets easier because these little guys, they don't get discouraged, they just have so much fun every day with learning, and it's just a joy to be around them. And for them to have all that excitement, and when they come and they tell me, "Oh, last night I read with Mom," or "Last night I read with my dog." So families are a part of it, a major part of it, a really huge part of it, and they need to help their child keep that excitement alive, keep that love of learning alive. Maybe there aren't any books at home. Well, there's a lot of places we can get books these days. We're not as limited or isolated as we were back then when I was a child. Everything today is digital. That's great. What Ed was saying, take advantage of that opening internet. You know, we're getting better usage, and the school has a lot of technology to offer, and it seems every child these days has technology in their pocket. And we also have a great community library, which I didn't have when I was a kid. Come borrow a book for free. You can always approach your teacher and ask them to send books home with the students. And often teachers will send books home daily with their students as well. We have book fairs every year, and every kid goes crazy for a book fair. And we did really well last year, and that was a lot of fun. But the internet is really, really great. Like, we really need to take advantage of that. And I have my iPad that I bring into the classroom, and I download books for the students, and they love using the iPad. So I'm very honored to be able to be with these children at such a young age when they're learning these basics of reading, and I'm helping them with that. And parents come and they thank me and tell me I'm doing a good job, and it's hard for me to take compliments. For me, it's not me. It's these little kids, they're the heroes. They're the ones trying so hard. I'm just guiding them. You know, they're the ones doing all the hard work. They're not giving up. They're keeping that excitement, and they love to read. They have a passion that I just can't explain, and I really hope that that carries on into the next grade, and the next grade, and the next grade. But we all have to work together as a community, as a school, with the parents, with the elders, with the children, their families. We need to work together so that these children continue to love learning every day, so that they are being read to every day, and that they have books in their homes. When I'm in my classroom, I get high fives, I get kids jumping up and down, I get hugs and I love yous, And all that over a single word. I had one little girl, she figured out a word all by herself that she had never read before, but she knew the blends, she knew the vowels, she knew the sounds, she figured it out all by herself, and she jumped up and threw her hand up in the air, and she's like, yes, high five, Miss G, high five. And you can't get that, that excitement anywhere else, and it's just so wonderful to see. And I think, oh my gosh, and I never wanted to be a teacher. I would have been missing out on so much joy and happiness in these children. And I can't imagine any other career out there where I can make a child feel so great, and they can make me feel so great all over reading something as simple as a new word. So I encourage you all to remember the importance of reading. These children need reading in their lives. They're going to grow up, they're going to travel, they're going to go to school. They need these reading skills, they need these comprehension skills. Read to your children every day. Don't stop reading to them. And now that I'm going to be a mother, it just brings it to an urgency for me. And somebody told me last week, oh, you should be reading to your baby now. Your baby's not born yet, but you should be reading to your baby. I'm like, what? Really? I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get on that. So we all need to work together to foster the love of reading in our families. Because when we see these children so happy when they read, they're just like, there's nothing comparable for me in that happiness. Like their smiles, their joys, their jumps, it's all worth it. All the hard work and the dedication, they're why I come to work every day.